This isn't just some campfire story. This is a true account that began in the small, quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, back in the mid-1960s. For 13 months, this community was gripped by a series of bizarre and frightening events, all centered around sightings of a creature that would become infamous around the world. Our story starts on a cold November night in 1966. Two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallette, were driving near an abandoned World War II munitions plant, a place locals called the TNT area. It was supposed to be a normal, quiet evening, but what they saw that night was anything but normal. Out of the darkness, two glowing red eyes appeared, attached to a figure that was unlike anything they had ever seen. They described it as a large, winged man-like creature, about 7 feet tall, with a wingspan of at least 10 feet. It wasn't a bird. It wasn't a man. It was something else. Terrified, they sped away, hitting speeds of over 100 miles per hour. But the creature kept up, effortlessly gliding above their car, its massive wings seemingly not even flapping. It followed them all the way to the Point Pleasant city limits, before finally disappearing into the night. Shaken and breathless, the couples drove straight to the sheriff's office. At first, the deputies were skeptical. I mean, who wouldn't be? A giant flying man with glowing red eyes? It sounds like something from a monster movie. But when Sheriff George Johnson went with them back to the TNT area, he couldn't deny the sheer terror on their faces. He knew they had seen something that genuinely frightened them. The next day, the local newspaper, the Point Pleasant Register, ran the headline, "Couples see man-sized bird, creature, something." And that's when the floodgates opened. The story went viral, 1960s style. Soon, reports started pouring in from all over the area. It seemed like everyone had a Mothman story. One of the most compelling accounts came from a local contractor named Newell Partridge. He was at home watching TV when the screen suddenly went dark and filled with a strange, swirling pattern. His dog Bandit started growling ferociously at the door. Partridge grabbed a flashlight and went outside. That's when he saw it. Two huge, red, glowing eyes staring at him from the darkness of his barn. He said they were hypnotic. Bandit, a brave hunting dog, shot off after the creature and was never seen again. Over the next year, more than 100 people in and around Point Pleasant reported seeing the Mothman. The descriptions were eerily consistent: a tall, shadowy figure with huge wings and those piercing, glowing red eyes. It was seen perching on buildings, flying over cars, and lurking in the woods near the TNT area. Some witnesses even reported that the creature emitted a high-pitched screech, like a mouse, but much, much louder. The town became a media sensation. Reporters and monster hunters from all over the country descended on Point Pleasant, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary creature. The sightings were so frequent and so widespread that they couldn't simply be dismissed as a hoax or mass hysteria. Something was happening in West Virginia. But the story of the Mothman isn't just about a scary monster. It gets much weirder. Alongside the creature sightings, other strange phenomena began to plague the town. People reported seeing UFOs and strange lights in the sky. They experienced odd electrical disturbances, like phones ringing with no one on the other end, and TVs and radios malfunctioning. Even more unsettling were the appearances of the so-called men in black. These weren't the cool, wisecracking agents from the movies. These were strange, intimidating men dressed in old, ill-fitting black suits. They would show up at the homes of Mothman witnesses, asking bizarre questions and warning them to stop talking about what they had seen. They spoke in a strange, robotic monotone and seemed not to understand basic human customs. One witness, Mary Hire, a local journalist who covered the Mothman story extensively, received numerous visits from these men, leaving her deeply disturbed. This combination of a winged creature, UFOs, and men in black led many to believe that these events were all connected. Was the Mothman an alien? A government experiment gone wrong? Or maybe, as some local legends suggested, was it a supernatural entity, a harbinger of doom? This last theory is the one that has given the Mothman legend its most tragic and enduring power. The 13 months of sightings came to a sudden and catastrophic end on December 15, 1967. During rush hour traffic, the Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio, collapsed into the icy waters of the Ohio River. 46 people lost their lives in the disaster. It was a horrific tragedy that scarred the community forever. In the aftermath, a chilling realization dawned on the town. The last reported sightings of the Mothman were on or near the Silver Bridge, just before it collapsed. This led to the most popular theory about the creature, that the Mothman wasn't a monster meant to cause fear, but an omen, a messenger trying to warn people of the impending disaster. The official investigation concluded that the bridge collapse was due to a structural failure, a tiny crack in a single eye-bar that had grown over decades. But for many in Point Pleasant, the timing was too coincidental. They believed the Mothman had been trying to communicate a warning they couldn't understand until it was too late. After the bridge collapsed, the sightings of the Mothman stopped almost as suddenly as they had begun. The creature, its message seemingly delivered, vanished. So, what was the Mothman? Skeptics have proposed various explanations. Some say it was a misidentified bird, like a large sandhill crane or a great horned owl. An owl's eyes can reflect light to appear red, and its wingspan can be impressive. Others suggest it was a prank, or a case of mass hysteria fueled by media attention. But none of these explanations fully account for the sheer number of witnesses, the consistency of their descriptions, or the strange accompanying phenomena like the Men in Black. How could so many different people in different places all misidentify a common bird in the exact same terrifying way? And what about the creature that chased the Scarberry's car at 100 miles per hour? To this day, the story of the Mothman remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. The town of Point Pleasant has embraced its strange history. They have a Mothman museum, a statue of the creature in the center of town, and an annual Mothman festival that draws visitors from all over the world. The legend has been immortalized in books and films, most famously in John Keel's book, The Mothman Prophecies, and the movie of the same name. But for the people who lived through it, it was no movie. It was a year of genuine fear and wonder, culminating in a devastating tragedy. Whether you believe the Mothman was an alien, a cryptid, a supernatural being, or just a big owl, you can't deny the power of the story. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes there are things in this world that defy easy explanation, shadows that lurk just beyond the edge of our understanding. What do you think? Was the Mothman real? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysterious tales. Thanks for watching.